Welcome to episode 9 of our Beit HaLevi series. Today the Beit HaLevi is going to tell us something a little sobering. He says it's embarrassing that 3 times a day we say, Rofeh Cholim, Matir Asurim. God is the one that heals. God is the one that takes people out of jail, and so on. And yet, when the problem arises, it's as if we forget everything that we learned. BITACHON is in theory, but not in practice. It's easy to talk the talk, but not necessarily walk the walk. The Chovot Levot brings down a story of a chassid, a pious man, who was on a business trip. Let's say it's a man that's a big Baal BITACHON, and he goes on a trip to China. And there he meets what he calls an amgushi, some kind of pagan, non-believer in God. And the pagan is telling this Jewish man what he does and what he worships. And then he asks the Jew, who do you worship? And the Jew says, oh, I worship the all-powerful God, the one that feeds, the one that controls, the one that decides. And this amgushi, this guy, tells him, well, then why did you have to travel to China to get your parnasah if you have such an all-powerful God? Of course we have to do our hishtadlut. But the question is, do we really believe? Do we suddenly start panicking? Or do we do our hishtadlut in a calm fashion, like we said, paying off the debt, paying off the tax? This concept, Rav Wolbe writes that there's no area that we fool ourselves more in than in bitachon. When it comes to relying to Hashem, we can fool ourselves. We think we're balei bitachon, but sometimes, he says, we're just lazy. Yeah, okay, I'm not going to go do the effort because I'm a baal bitachon. Maybe not, maybe you're lazy. And sometimes we find contradictions within ourselves, especially in a time where I'm using bitachon for somebody else or bitachon for me. What does that mean? That means, you say, okay, yeah, the war, everything's going to be fine, Hashem's going to take care. And then suddenly when your child, the grandchild, is chas v'shalom, rushed to the emergency room for some reason, it turns out everything's okay. But how were you feeling then? Did you suddenly say, oh, bitachon, everything will be fine? Like the story of Shalom Shadran tells of he was walking in the streets of Shaarei Chesed and a child fell down, he was bleeding, and he picked the child up and he's running with him to the nearest urgent care of the times, and everyone's saying, it's going to be okay, don't worry, it'll be okay, refuah shlema. And the lady says, refuah shlema, and then the lady notices it's her kid, says, Ma Yankee! And she goes and starts screaming. What happened? I thought everything's going to be okay. Yeah, everything's going to be okay when someone else has the problem. But when bitachon has to become practical and not theoretical, it's a whole different story. Have a wonderful day.